What's up, YouTube? Welcome back to Uncut the Track. Today we're going to be talking about what I would have done differently than my first track session. All the things I learned. Live by the airport, sorry. All the things I learned from my first track session, the practicalness of it, and some of the things that I would have done differently that I actually got to do because I only had one track day initially, and the next time I had 2 track days. But we'll combine them all together, and I'll try and see if I can remember and think about and talk about what I would have done differently now that I've been to the track before. So stick with me. About to go for a little ride, and let's see if we can talk about it a little bit. I know some of you are into the whole cold start thing, so we're going to be doing that because about 2:30, haven't started the bike up just yet, and it's just really a quick errand, so we're going to do that. I do want to apologize for the previous footage. I had the camera tilted down too much so you could really see what's right here. I like to give you more of what I'm riding on. I don't really have a big enough bike, I would say, to be able to show you the full cockpit while I'm riding, along with a good panoramic view of everything that's going on around me. So just trying to find the right angle right now is what I've been trying to do here, and I think we got it. Can't really tell because I can't look down and look at the phone at the same time, but I think we got it. So we're gonna go ahead and be on our way to the store. Let's talk about what I would have done differently. Here's your coaster. I think it only sounds good because it's up against that garage door, but still sounds good to me. Not your loud roar. I do wish I could have had that. My initial pipes on this bike were split pipes that came out the back. They did give more of a louder sound, but I had a catalytic converter. I ended up taking that off, and I ended up going with a different exhaust. I ended up selling that other exhaust, so I no longer have that sound. But hey, when I'm going, I'm good to go. I think the only time it really comes in handy is if you're lane filtering or lane splitting, so that people can hear I'm there. But I give them a couple little revs, and also don't go fast. I take my time to pretty much know what's going on. Alright, so what would I have done differently on my first, or from my first track day, I should say? What would I have done differently? Initially, I think one of the things that I think about the most is going with someone. Being able to have a partner that you're riding with at the track is good for all sorts of things. Taking the necessary equipment and, moving your bike on and off, loading everything out, and just having that overall camaraderie. Somebody to talk to, talk about what you're doing, implementing some of the things that the instructors are telling you from, the lessons you're getting about body position, braking, all those different things, and just being able to talk about that. So actually going by myself, it's not something I got a problem with. I mean, I actually going by myself is actually not a problem. I actually ride alone a lot. I'm not really out here riding in groups with people, and I don't really have a partner that I can ride with regularly, although I have tried. So I'm used to being alone. But if I had my choice, and I've put this out there to a couple of friends, I would actually go with somebody throughout the whole process. There's a whole lot of stuff you got to do. Make sure you got everything right. Make sure you got, the vehicle loaded up with everything you need. And again, the camaraderie, the overall camaraderie is just doing it and going to the track, just like anything else. If you can go play hoop, or you can go play football or soccer or baseball, whatever it is, you got to throw the ball to somebody got to catch it. You know what I mean? So definitely going with somebody to the track is something I would have changed. When I think about it, the other thing that I would do differently, that I actually did do differently from the initial time, my very first video, I showed you guys all of the stuff that I would take to the track. And I think I mentioned this in the video, but we can speak on it now. You don't actually need all of that stuff, okay? You're definitely gonna, want to bring your own first aid kit. maybe a tire repair kit. I would definitely recommend bringing a fan and a chair, and bringing, your essentials: boots, suit, gloves, helmet, all that stuff you're going to really need to focus in on and bring. But in terms of all of the other stuff that I posted, and that I instructed you to bring, you don't really need to bring all of that stuff, right? Because for the most part, most tracks will have everything you need. They will have everything you need there. If you need to get a tire replacement and you have the money to do so, you can do that at the track. Mechanically, if somebody has the time and it's available, you can actually have someone look at your bike and tell you what's going on mechanically. Okay? Riding with RideSmart, especially going to COTA, they have EMS there. So, anything were to happen, they're going to call for you. You're going to be able to go to the hospital. They actually will be able to tow your bike back to at least your vehicle, so you can get it back to, back into your vehicle when you go home. But in terms of first aid and being able to take care of yourself, they're going to take care of that for you. So all of that stuff I brung, and there's so much stuff, I'm trying to think of all of it now. You don't really need it, but you definitely want to bring something to hydrate yourself because it's going to be hot. Definitely want to bring some snacks because this is a workout. I mean, any of you guys who ride know there are muscles that you are using in your body that you don't normally use, even when playing other sports. You got basketball muscles, you got football muscles, you got motorcycle muscles. So definitely going to want to be able to hydrate, and again, you're going to want to be able to bring some food for some fuel, so that you can, be strong enough to get through everything that's going on. And so those things essentially are what you're going to need. Now, I also would recommend you bring a fan to cool your bike down, okay? Because your bike's going to be running hot, the track's going to be hot, and you're going to be, going at higher speeds than you normally maintain when you're riding on the street, all right? This bike was probably averaging somewhere between about 70 to 125 miles an hour, all right? So that means that I was going higher than that, especially on the straightaways and different things like that. You are going very, very fast, and this engine is running very, very hot. So I got a great fan on Amazon. They actually have this really great deal on the fan, and I would pop that up, stick it in the engine when I had to go upstairs to the classroom so we could get all the lessons that we needed to know for the next session. And when I would come back, the bike would be nice and cool. So I would definitely do that. The other thing I would probably do, that I would recommend in going to the track for the first time, when and if you can afford it, is tire warmers. Especially if you are a part of the novice intermediate group, but actually any group, because what happens is we go out on a schedule. So at the very, very beginning of the day, the first people that get to hit the track right away are everybody that's in the expert class. So those guys get to go out first. And that means they don't have to go through any classroom sessions or whatever. They get an allotted amount of time to be able to go out, ride on the track, and do everything they need to do. And then after their allotted amount of time is gone, and they have to wait for the next set of people, which I believe is advanced. I could be stating this wrong. But again, they get a allotted amount, I believe it's 40 minutes. They go out, ride for 40, do their laps. And so what happens is, in between those times, your tires are cooling off, right? Because you're not out there anymore. And you need to be able to keep that constant heat in your tires so that they stick properly. So getting some tire warmers would be great. That would be something that I would want to do here in the future in order for me to be able to ride successfully and have a more confident feel as I go around the track. So yes, it would absolutely be getting some tire warmers, okay? Just would recommend that for everybody. If you can. Again, now that's something if you can afford it. They got some expensive ones, they got some not so expensive ones, but regardless of the fact, tire warmers are great because it keeps these things sticking to the track. All right, I'm gonna go in the store real quick. We're gonna take a pause and then we'll pick it up from there.
shouldn't be in here for too long, but I don't think I can film in the store, and all I got is my phone and my helmet. I don't feel like walking around filming this right now in the store, so I'm just gonna do this right here. So how do we pick up where we left off? Remember we talked about going with somebody, not taking everything. You don't need all those things. And I also remember talked about getting some tire warmers. Again, if it's in your budget, not totally 100% necessary, but something you definitely want to think about. I really didn't even have time to think about this while I was in the store because I was trying to get in and get out. But I would say next thing I would probably think about doing differently for my next track day is going one day. Once you've experienced it the first time and you go through a weekend, hopefully you're able to move up from intermediate to, well, from novice to intermediate, and then from intermediate to advanced, and then from advanced to expert. And if you are, then you really don't have to go for the whole weekend because it's an investment to do so. Sometimes budgets are tight, so you just want to make sure you go, get the experience, make sure you put in all the work you need to put in to learn the lessons that they're teaching you whatever day you go to the track. Probably am going to do another full weekend session, but after doing a few more full weekend sessions, I'm just going to go for one day. I'm not going to try and do weekend sessions the entire time unless you're with a group of people. Or again, if I'm riding with somebody and we want to do a full weekend because it's fun, because you can leave your bike there. You can pretty much leave all your stuff there and just get your ride in the next time. So unless I'm with somebody, then I would definitely do it just one day, which actually kind of leads to the next thing I was thinking about. You guys know I rented a U-Haul van, had everything inside the U-Haul van, and I took it up there, took everything up there. I think what I would do differently, and this is hopefully, in the immediate future, I would actually take my stuff on a trailer, pulled by a truck, and that is because when I go to leave, when it comes to a U-Haul, you're putting miles on it, you got to pay for those miles. So if you have a personal vehicle that you can trailer your stuff up there on, whether it's an enclosed trailer, or even if you just rent a U-Haul trailer, because that doesn't have any mileage tracker on it or any odometer, then it makes it more convenient. You take everything up there, you drop everything off, and you have everything ready. The only thing you really probably need to take back with you if you want to is whatever you're wearing for that day. But definitely having a separate vehicle so that when you take everything there, you can drop it off, and then the day, if you do come back that second day, if you live close enough to the track, you drive home in your vehicle and you drive back to it. Makes it a lot more convenient. In my particular case, I did leave as much as I could behind when it came to my equipment and my bike, of course. The only thing I did not leave there, of course, was everything I was wearing and all of the other ancillary stuff that I had. So my fan stayed. I have, of course, that plastic container that I put all those different tools and stuff. That stuff was in there, but everything pretty much stayed there. I just had to drive the van back, and that caused me to have more mileage. So doing it differently, you want to take your own personal vehicle because it's going to be, a lot of money if you're renting a U-Haul van or anything that has an odometer, because you're going to be putting miles on it. But that's definitely something I would do differently when it comes to that. Now, there are a number of advantages you can take at the track. Not so much advantages, but there are a number of different things you can do at the track. They have other courses that they offer that you can do to, become a more advanced rider. And if you are a more advanced rider, even have you, if you want to qualify for, I believe it's called CMRA, which is kind of like the semi-pro of racing. You can get into that type of stuff you can do, but not really something I was looking forward to. But to just keep it basic, I would pack lighter. Okay, after that first day, you realize, hey, I really only need whatever I'm wearing, some water, some food, quite possibly, tire warmers if I can afford it, and a chair and my fan. It's really all you need. Keep it basic. If you run into any problems, just like everybody in the motorcycle community, there are people that are inside that facility
whether it's other riders or other professionals that are there, mechanics, people that they have, like I said, they have tires that they're selling, they have other people, they are going to help you. They have time, they will help you, and you don't really need to be your own pit crew when it comes to, you know, going to the track. Nothing wrong with being prepared. If you have a vehicle that you normally keep all of your stuff in, and you can also fit your bike in there, you can trailer your bike on the back, and you happen to go to the track, great. You know, that's a good thing. But if you don't, you know, pack light. Pack very, very light. And I will say this, based on my first experience, excuse me. Based on my first experience, so the first time I was not in a garage. I was outside under my tent, and it was in July, it was under the sun. It's pretty hot. As you can see right now, the angle of the sun is kind of over here. It is now 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock is the hottest time of day for everyone everywhere. So it's not so much that you don't want to have a tent, but you should know how to stage it so that it blocks the sun out during the hottest period of the day. From at 12 o'clock to pretty much, you know, the end of your day, which I believe is at 5 or 6, you want to make sure that you've given yourself enough shade. If you want to be in a garage, do it. That is something I think I will do every time. It's $100 to get in the garage. I don't know if it's $100 per day or $100 per weekend. I can definitely check. But $100, you're in a garage, you're shaded from the sun. Sometimes, just like today, there's a breeze coming through that feels amazing, and it's not too hot. There's no AC, but you know, you're right there by the bathrooms you're going to go to, which makes it super convenient because you know you're going to want to use the bathroom, especially if you're keeping yourself hydrated and you know your body's perspiring. So you know you're definitely going to want to do that. But I would definitely recommend getting a garage, absolutely. But nothing wrong with having cover. Definitely get covered. Don't go out there thinking, hey, I'm just going to unpack my van or truck and I'm going to be sitting out there in the parking lot in the open. You are going to be on fire. When you have those leathers on, those boots, those gauntlet gloves, and all these different things that you're wearing, and the bike, you know, is heating up over 220 degrees, you're gonna be hot. And you know, after every session, you are going to basically take off at least half of your suit, if not the whole thing. I mean, I've seen guys just fully disrobe, and you know, of course they got something on underneath it, but you know, through every session they go up to, you know, wherever the class is, and they come in with just their shorts and some slides and a t-shirt on, because they're cooling off. So, you know, find ways to cool off, get some cover, get a tent, get something, but definitely gonna want to do that. Well, that's it for me, guys. I appreciate you coming out to check out your boy on the channel again, and I'll see you soon. Peace.